Hello, and welcome to this review of the Good Girls series by Kerrigan Byrne. This is a historical romance book series, and I'm Olivia, your new favorite resource for book recommendations. You can easily screenshot, and you're watching Random Olive Reads. So, first up, we have Seducing a Stranger, which is book one of the series, which was previously published as A Dark and Stormy Night and also serves as book seven of the Victorian Rebel series. So, in this one, we start with a midnight tryst in a garden between our gal Prudence and the good Chief Inspector Carlton Morley while he's trying to investigate a case out in the garden. Fast forward to the inspector's boss's daughter's wedding, where the groom is stabbed to death before the ceremony, and the bride is holding the knife and covered in blood. And she was his one night stand. And she's pregnant. If that's not drama, I don't know what is. How can that be any more dramatic? And this takes place in the first 20% of the book. Next up, we have Courting Trouble, which is book two of the series. In this one, the early part of the book takes place in the past, and as a child, the coal boy of a fancy house falls in love with the eldest daughter. And then a few years later, as a young man, he has an affair with the girl, and they make plans to run away together. When her father catches them, the man's career as a physician is threatened. So the girl cruelly pushes him away and marries someone else. Now, the beginning of this one is very similar to the plot of Again the Magic by Lisa Kleypas, with the fine young lady pushing away the unsuitable young man. Fast forward many years later, now the lady is widowed, suffering from a gunshot wound, and she is brought to the man who is now a renowned doctor to heal her. They're forced into each other's company while she recovers, and they start to reconnect. But that lady still has that threatening, overbearing father, so there's still drama to be had. Book three is Dancing with Danger. We have the younger sister of the two sisters from the first two books, and we have Mercy, who is at the scene of a murder and immediately accused and arrested, even though she's the daughter of the police commissioner. Meanwhile, Raphael, an actual criminal, is also at the scene of the crime, but he's not actually guilty of this one. They decide to team up to find the real killer. And overall, I liked how bold and brash Mercy here is and how she goes after what she wants, including Raphael. Tempting Fate is book four, and this one makes a whole lot more sense after you've read the previous book. Felicity is the twin sister of Mercy, and she's dreadfully shy. She doesn't talk to men. She basically faints at the sight of blood. And Gabriel is the very scarred criminal brother of Raphael. And he's been presumed dead, but really he had reconstructive surgery because his face was so heavily scarred. And then he's assuming a new identity where he isn't sought out by the law. At this point, Felicity is living alone because her older sisters and twin sister have married and left, and she was recently threatened. So now she needs to hire a bodyguard and literally bumps into Gabriel in the street outside of her house. She doesn't recognize him, of course, because he's had that surgery, and she has had a soft spot for him all this time. And he has been pining for her and clearly been watching her house kind of creepily. She hires him and they grow closer, but there's still that whole hidden identity thing happening. So I'm sure there's fallout from that. I think overall, this one was my favorite of the series. I love that whole overprotective, pining, semi violent hero. Crying Wolf is book five of the series. Spoiler alert on this one, we've uncovered more good siblings from the father's second family. So we have Rosalind, who is now living with older sister Prue and her husband Carlton from book one. She's got a little bit of a stealing and hiding things problem, but she's working on it. She breaks into the townhouse next door to observe the stars from the top floor, and she pockets a treasure that she finds there. The man who has recently purchased the house finds her there and chases her back to her own bedroom where they're caught. He thinks that she's a thief, but he's accidentally compromised a young lady in the chief inspector's house with stuffy old witnesses. So now they have to get married. And so we kind of start the ball rolling with that. Making Mary is a novella and considered book 6. This one doesn't feel super connected to the other books in the series, so you could probably skip it if you wanted to. A lady gets caught in a storm while traveling and stays in the only room left at the inn, which is apparently haunted. And then she has a tryst with a ghost. I'm not entirely sure what's going on with this one. It was just okay. I probably would have skipped it if I didn't know what was going on with it. Next up in the Good Girl series, there are 2 more books planned. The release dates are to be determined. We have books 7 and 8 about the remaining Good siblings. So, overall, I really enjoyed reading the series. I'm definitely looking forward to more from Kerrigan Byrne and finding out how this whole thing wraps up. Thanks so much for watching this video. Links to all the books are in the description box, and like and subscribe so you don't miss future videos. You can follow me on Instagram at randomolive.